Hello ladies and gentlemen, Adrian here for Digital Dojos, and today we're going to be talking about the iPhone SE and the iPad Pro 9.7 inch. So, none of these devices are actually the SE or iPad Pro. However, they could almost pass off for it. Maybe not so much the iPad, because the iPad got more design changes than the SE did. But let's talk about them. The Apple March 21st event recently passed. You can see my full overview post if you haven't seen the actual Apple event to get the recap of everything that went down. But the two major hardware announcements that everybody cares about, iPhone SE, iPad Pro 9.7 inch. I want to talk about my thoughts, opinions, answering your guys' questions about them that I've been getting, just in general from friends, family, etc. Let's talk about the SE first off. The SE is a really weird and interesting product announcement for Apple for a couple of reasons. It's the third generation iPhone 5 for the most part. Even though they're branding wise, they're calling it the SE, so you feel like you're getting something new when you're not per se really getting something new. We'll talk about it. You have the iPhone 5, you have the iPhone 5S, and then now you have the iPhone SE. I always want to say iPhone 5 SE, but they're calling it the iPhone SE. Now, I believe it stands for Special Edition, if I'm not mistaken. But regardless, it is meant to be the smallest of the form factors of the current generation of iPhones. It's meant to give you the current gen hardware. I don't want to say new hardware because it's current gen hardware. So you get the A9 chip, the M9 chip, all of that stuff that's in the 6S and 6S Plus, and you get it in a much smaller form factor. Externally though, 100% the same, minus the rose gold color that they came out with and the changes like slightly to the edges. But it's so much the same in the sense that the iPhone 5S cases will fit your new iPhone SE. They say it's to cater to this 4-inch market, that they say that there's still a ton of people who prefer those phones, who are getting those phones, whether it's for just a physical reason that it's a better fit for some people and they prefer to use a 4-inch phone. That's totally plausible. Or whether it's for the budgeting reason, or some people will want to get this because it's a cheaper phone. It's $399, $400. You can get like $17 a month in terms of financing. You can get it free on contract. There's a lot of options there, and it makes it, I guess, by far the cheapest of the iPhones. That being said, it is still externally 100% the same. Internally, you get like a better camera on the rear end. You get much faster chips to make performance up to speed and up to par with current gen phones. So if you really like this form factor, I think the question of should I get the SE really comes down to your decision between an SE and a 6S, because most people who are looking at the SE aren't going to want to get a 6S Plus because that's too far on the spectrum as far as screen size goes. Hold the 6S or 6 because they're physically the same. See if you like it. See if you can operate with it. See if that's a form factor you prefer in your hand, pocket, purse, whatever. And if not, then yeah, go with the SE. But you are essentially getting the current gen hardware in an older shell of a phone. It is what it is. It's not anything new. It's not anything crazy or innovative or any of those big words. It is simply the SE. I don't know what more to say. If you're looking for a brand new iPhone, you're coming to get an iPhone. I think it's, if you want to get an iPhone for kids or something like that, yeah, it's not only economically better decision, but it's a smaller form factor, so I guess I'll prefer that. That's a thing. But other than that, the SE just stands in a really weird place in Apple's lineup for me right now. I don't know if there's enough of a market to really, justify making a whole, revitalizing a whole new phone or the 5S essentially and upgrading that. But time will tell, I guess. Now the iPad Pro essentially they shrunk the 12.9 inch into a 9.7 inch. That's much more understandable for me when it comes to the iPad Pro. They took the current gen hardware, shrunk it down into the iPad Pro. They even added some new stuff to display, like True Tone display and stuff like that. That makes more sense because when it comes to the Pro lineup, you only have one choice, the gigantic 12.9 inch tablet, which looks great. And for a lot of people, designers, people who work with graphics, they prefer that. They love it. Some people swear by it. And some people, they just think it's clearly way too big for them to carry around, too heavy. Now you have it in a 9.7 inch form factor. So that decision for me is much more clear cut. If you're asking which iPad Pro should I get, it really comes down to, do you want the biggest size there is, or do you want the 9.7 inch, which I think is a more standard size in tablets nowadays. It's not like asking, do you want the iPad mini or iPad Pro? Because it's a completely different question. So I understand that product announcement much more. It's essentially the iPad Air third generation, just being rebranded as the iPad Pro. They're doing the whole MacBook lineup: iPad Pro 9.7, iPad Pro 12.9. So I think it's pretty self-explanatory. You get the better, the new camera, the better camera. You have the new camera hump if you take pictures on your iPad at all. You get like some slight design changes to the iPad. I think they changed, like I said, the 3D sensor up here to like match the color of the iPad you have. But it is, for the most part, an iPad Pro's hardware in the iPad Air 2 shell. You get the 4 speakers, stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, it's a much more clear-cut decision when it comes to that, like I said. So I hope that helps you guys out there. I hope that answers some of your questions. If this video helped you out, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, that like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and leave your feedback down below. What are your thoughts, comments, opinions? Leave it all down below. Hit me up on Twitter, what have you. And as always, head over to digitaldojos.com for more content. Thanks a lot for watching.